Have you ever wondered why some people are celebrated and some vilified for similar actions? It's a question that becomes strikingly relevant when we look at the contrasting tales of Prince Andrew and Prince Harry. In one corner, we have Prince Andrew, a royal embroiled in serious allegations. Despite the gravity of these accusations, he remains comfortably shielded by the institution, the very embodiment of the royal paradox. His image is carefully protected, his reputation quietly rehabilitated, all under the watchful eye of the institution that has, for centuries, defined the rules of the game. In the other corner, we have Prince Harry, a prince who dared to break free from the golden cage, who chose love over duty, honesty over pretense. His actions, far from being celebrated as a courageous break from tradition, were met with exile. He was painted as a rebel, a traitor to the crown, his every move scrutinized and criticized. The paradox here is glaring. Two princes, two paths, yet such vastly different outcomes. One is shielded despite his alleged misdeeds, the other vilified for choosing a path of authenticity. It's a tale as old as time. Yet, in the context of the royal family, it's a narrative that exposes the contradictions at the heart of the institution. The paradox doesn't end there, however. The same system that shields one prince while vilifying the other is upheld and perpetuated by the very people it harms. It's a system that values image over substance, tradition over progress, and silence over truth. So, as we delve deeper into this royal paradox, one cannot help but ask, who is the real villain here? Is it the prince who dared to challenge the status quo, or the institution that continues to uphold a system of double standards? Or perhaps, is it us, the spectators, who often forget that beneath the crowns and the titles they are, after all, human? This glaring discrepancy begs the question, who is the real villain here? What role does the media play in painting a picture of our royals? Well, let's delve into that, shall we? The media, with its mighty power of influence, has played a significant part in shaping our perception of Harry and Meghan. The narrative spun around them was one of rebellion, of defiance, of stepping out of line. They were painted as the villains of the royal story, the black sheep who dared to stray from the herd. They were portrayed as individuals who chose personal freedom over duty and tradition, who opted for love over loyalty, who selected honesty over keeping up appearances. This portrayal, however, was not without its consequences. It led to them being mocked, lied about, and dragged through the mud in headlines across the globe. They were made the scapegoats for the royal family's issues, their every move scrutinised and criticised. And while the media was busy creating this narrative, the real scandals within the royal family were conveniently swept under the carpets. Stories that should have made headlines were instead hushed up, kept out of sight, out of mind. The media chose to focus on the couple who had the audacity to demand respect and privacy, rather than the institution that harboured scandals and protected those involved. But the media's role isn't just about painting a picture. It's also about reflecting the society we live in. It's about choosing which stories to tell and which to silence. It's about deciding who the villains are and who the heroes are. And in this case, the media chose to make villains out of a couple who wanted nothing more than to live their lives on their own terms, away from the toxicity they found themselves in. The media's role in this story is undeniable, but are they the only ones to blame? As we move through this narrative, we'll uncover more layers, more characters, and more questions that demand answers. But one thing is clear. The media's portrayal of Harry and Meghan was not only unfair, but it also distracted us from the real issues at hand. Could it be that the real problem lies not with the individuals, but with the system they are part of? This question, though simple, carries a weight of significance. It's time we explore it. Let's consider a scenario where Harry and Meghan are not the problem. Instead, imagine a system that is so rigid, so steeped in archaic traditions, that it becomes incapable of handling two vibrant, forward-thinking individuals. A system that prizes conformity over authenticity, silence over truth, and image over substantive change. This, dear listeners, is the royal institution we're talking about. Harry and Meghan were not just senior royals. They were the breath of fresh air that the monarchy desperately needed. They brought a modern perspective, a willingness to challenge the status quo, and a desire to use their platform for positive change. They were the embodiment of evolution within an institution that has long resisted it, But what did the system do? It pushed them away. It chose to uphold its age-old traditions and protocols, even when they were clearly causing harm. It chose to protect its image rather than its people, and in doing so, it lost not just two senior royals, but the only pair who could have helped it evolve. Now, we are witnessing the fallout. The system's flaws are laid bare for all to see. The hypocrisy, the double standards, the unwillingness to adapt, they're all there in the open. And ironically, it's Harry and Meghan's exit that has shone a light on these issues. Yet, the question remains, what can be done about it? Can the system evolve, or is it too late? Only time will tell. But one thing is clear, the system needs to face its flaws, acknowledge them, and take concrete steps towards change. That's the only way for it to regain its credibility and relevance in today's world. The system's flaws are becoming more apparent, but what can be done about it? Let's hope that this question prompts some much-needed introspection within the royal institution. What happens when we realise we were wrong all along? There's a certain humility that comes with acknowledging a mistake. It's a sign of growth, of learning, of understanding, and it seems that, at long last, this understanding is dawning on some. The voices that once crucified Harry and Meghan, that painted them as the villains, are now echoing with a different tune. A tune of apology, of reflection, and of regret. These voices, once loud with condemnation, are now whispering, we were wrong. They're not just whispering it to the winds, but to the world, and most importantly to Harry and Meghan. It's an apology that's long overdue, a reflection that should have happened sooner. But as they say, better late than never. These apologies, however tardy, are a sign of something more significant. They're a sign that the narrative is shifting, that the truth is finally being acknowledged. The truth that Harry and Meghan were not the villains but the victims of an archaic system, of a relentless media, of a story that was written against them from the start. But what does this overdue apology signify? It signifies a change in the narrative, a change in perception, and hopefully a change in the system itself. It's a step towards recognising that the problem was never Harry and Meghan. It was a system that couldn't handle their honesty, their bravery, their desire for freedom. This apology, while overdue, is a step in the right direction. It's a step towards acknowledging the wrongs, towards rectifying the mistakes, and towards ensuring that history doesn't repeat itself. It's a step towards understanding that the real villain was never Harry or Meghan, but the system that couldn't adapt, that couldn't evolve. So, while it's been a long time coming, this apology is a move towards progress. It's a move towards a future where truth triumphs over narratives, where individuals are valued over institutions, where love and freedom are celebrated, not punished. The apology may be overdue, but it is a step in the right direction. What does it mean when the world finally catches up to the truth? It means that we've reached a tipping point, a moment of collective realization where the fog of misinformation is lifting and the reality is becoming too evident to ignore. This is the moment we find ourselves in. The world is slowly but surely awakening to the truth about Harry and Meghan. For years they were portrayed as the villains, the renegades, the ones who dared to challenge tradition. But now the narrative is shifting. They're not the villains, they are the ones who dare to stand up for truth, love, and freedom. This realization is not just a shift in perspective, it's a seismic change in how we view power, privilege, and the institutions that uphold them. It's an awakening to the fact that the archaic and rigid systems of the past no longer serve us. It's an acknowledgement that change is not just necessary, but inevitable. And it's not just about Harry and Meghan, it's about every individual who has ever been silenced, marginalised, or cast aside by a system that values conformity over authenticity. It's about the need for transparency, accountability, and fairness in all our institutions. This global awakening is a testament to the power of truth. It's a reminder that no matter how much you try to suppress it, the truth has a way of coming to light. And when it does, it's a force to be reckoned with. Harry and Meghan's story has served as a mirror, reflecting back to us the flaws in our systems and the urgent need for change. They chose truth over tradition, love over power, and freedom over conformity. And in doing so, they've shown us that it's not just possible, but necessary to challenge the status quo. The world is finally catching up to the truth, and it's about time. This is not the end of the story, but the beginning of a new chapter, one where we collectively strive for a world that values truth, fairness, and freedom.